For centuries, the history of the transatlantic slave trade relied heavily on the tabula rasa thesis. This assumes the Middle Passage acted as a cultural wipe, erasing the political and intellectual identities of enslaved Africans, leaving them as blank slates. This map focuses on the Bight of Biafra, refuting the blank slate theory. Between the 1650s and 1850s, 1.5 million people were forced onto ships from these ports. Records indicate up to 80% of captives departing this area identified as Igbo. This diagram illustrates the stowage plans of the British slave ship Brooks. The system was designed for clinical extraction, packing individuals into holds with mechanical precision to maximize profit and inflict severe physical devastation. Yet intellectual identity survived. The writer Olaudah Equiano is a clear example that captives retained their heritage, language, and specific memories of their homeland. The enslaved Igbo did not arrive in the Americas empty-handed. They carried a highly specific, invisible, and radical political architecture. This architecture was built on a core political ethos encapsulated in the phrase Igbo enwe eze. Translated directly, it means Igbo has no king. European observers conflated this with anarchy. In reality, the Igbo operated on diffuse authority. Instead of a rigid hierarchy, power distributed across a decentralized network of autonomous clans. Leadership was never inherited, but earned through merit, age, and building consensus. The primary technology holding this entire system together was the speech act. In the village assembly, authority was exercised through highly skilled oratory, the strategic use of proverbs, and precise citation of historical precedent. A society bound by speech, rather than a crown, functions as an anti-fragile defense mechanism. When facing external shocks, a decentralized network of autonomous, highly communicative groups is far harder to dismantle than a centralized monarchy. This structural resilience was tested during the British colonial incursions into southeastern Nigeria. Between 1900 and 1928, British forces launched dozens of military expeditions to subdue the region. The European strategy relied on decapitation, capturing a monarch to collapse the entire command structure and force surrender. This failed against the Igbo. Because authority was distributed, eliminating a leader didn't break the system. Surrounding communities simply rerouted alliances and continued fighting. Frustrated by their inability to find a central authority to coerce, the British attempted to artificially install warrant chiefs. They tried to force the local population into a recognizable European hierarchy, elevating individuals to positions of absolute power that the culture strictly rejected. The realization that they could not co-opt a non-existent dynasty forced them to abandon standard conquest and resort to extreme systemic deception. The Uga crisis serves as the ultimate stress test of the Igbo network against British deceit. British forces lured 26 Uga leaders away under the false pretense of a diplomatic peace negotiation. These 26 elders were abducted and disappeared, creating a sudden, devastating vacuum in the local network. The Igbo network adapted by falling back on its core technology, the Speech Act. This adaptation manifested in the creation of the Obufo Uga Festival. Held annually on Boxing Day, 26 masqueraders emerge to represent the kidnapped leaders, turning a day of mourning into a public trial of the British. Manifesting these 26 masquerades annually weaponized storytelling, ensuring the British imposition was continuously delegitimized in the collective consciousness. This exact political framework traveled from the Bight of Biafra to the brutal plantation economies of the Americas. Records from New World planters described Igbo captives as uniquely troublesome and prone to organized mutiny. The Dunbar Creek Igbo landing event at Tatum serves as a pristine case study of this kingless network in action. This was an organized, leaderless, and collective refusal of chattel slavery. The captives maintained a metaphysical continuity with their homeland by utilizing the Speech Act, singing in unison as they marched directly into the water. Within their cosmological framework, this mass suicide functioned as a calculated political bypass, a return to the ancestral network that permanently denied the colonial power its economic labor asset. This localized resistance connects the Ugalu masquerades in Nigeria to the broader Caribbean diaspora, where work songs explicitly called on captives to take force by force. Across the Atlantic world, Igbo identity functioned as a fluid, active, and articulated response to extreme external threats. The broader historical implication is clear. African captives carried robust, invisible architectures across the ocean, providing the evidence required to dismantle the blank slate theory. These cultural and political connections solidified into a resilient transatlantic network. This kingless people utilized an advanced socio-political technology, weaponizing the Speech Act to survive the most brutal systemic shocks in modern history.